Thanks for staying with us. Yesterday, a building located on Gerald Road, Ikoyi, collapsed with an unspecified number of persons trapped inside. However, 3 persons have been rescued, while the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has so far confirmed 2 persons killed. This is quite sad. Hence, we'd love to hear your opinions on this. You can join us, but first of all, we'll have a guest join us on the show, a civil engineer, a corporate member of Nigerian Society of Engineers, NCE, and current registered civil structural engineer, Abiodun Ariyo, will be joining us shortly to have this conversation. But you can call us on 081-270-53-687 or 091-390-76948. Ladies, when you heard the story yesterday, how did you feel?
For me, it's like one too many in Lagos, in Nigeria. You hear more about it in Lagos. First of all, I want to just say something because we break the law a lot in Nigeria. Ikoyi, when the map of Ikoyi was made, all the buildings were one-story buildings. They were either bungalows or one-story buildings. There used to be a lot of trees. There used to be a lot of parks. Now it doesn't obtain. Now you have high-rise, and you see a lot of high-rise buildings. Now, I don't know. I'm not a structural engineer. I'm not an architect. But could it be that when they, because Ikoyi is very near the lagoon.
Is it the Atlantic?
No. It's the lagoon. I think it's Lagos Lagoon. The one beside Banana Island. Okay. It surrounds Ikoyi. Could it be that because the soil
is not strong enough?
It's not strong enough. It's why, because it was Oyibo people that were living in Ikoyi in those days, Oyibo people and rich people. Could it be because the soil is not strong enough to
hold the high-rise
buildings? Is why? I don't know.
Yes, but if the plan was for a serene environment with just bungalows and one-story building, it's a no-brainer to add a high-rise building because that's the plan. I'm sure when they're making plans, they understand the soil that they want to work on. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
I think we'll leave that conversation to structural engineers.
Anyway.
But there was a letter that was going around as well where it showed that he had been working with consultants, engineering consultants, who were saying that they had sort of, washed their hands off of the project because they could not, they said their vision, the owner of the building and their vision was not the same. They were not sure of the integrity of the building beyond the first 4 floors that they had worked on. And I think they say most of the high-rise buildings in that area, I think it's the 14th floor, 15th floor that the government has approved. There's also another post going around, although for me, I think it's still unverified, where they said in July of 2000, that place had been sealed off by the Lagos State governor also because I think they were questioning the integrity of that building. So it's, it's very sad. A lot of people have lost their lives. When I heard this, I felt really sad for all the people who were working, coming there to just earn a living, and here they were, and they got caught up in this rubble. But, I kept asking, before a building of that magnitude falls, and there's signs that you see, and there are cracked walls, the people working on the site, are they not aware that what they are working on could, potentially be a danger to them, So those were some of the questions I've asked, and I guess an engineer will help us answer those questions. Because the only times I've seen a building just out of nowhere fall is when you maybe put a dynamite on it, and then they blow it up. Yeah, and then blow it up to bring it down.
There are buildings that have fallen in Lekki.
No, what I say without what do you call
signs
without
or cracks
any
on the
signs
wall
or cracks over time that people are aware that this is a dangerous building. Sometimes we see those buildings tilting. So when it falls, we're like, it was obvious that this would not stay.
What I'm trying to say is when they're building, we've heard of one in Lekki, a couple I think in Lekki where they just collapsed, because they are not making sure the structure and the foundation is not
enough to hold it.
Yes. You know, and you know, especially where there is swampy soil. My partner is an architect. You have to make sure that the foundation is the concrete you put into it to make sure that that building stays solid. It's serious concrete. So when the consultant that his name is Olawale or something, when he resigned from the job, he probably saw that the integrity was, you know,
was compromised. Or the foundation couldn't carry the height of that building.
And he told them and left. You know, we had a conversation yesterday where we were talking about we the people. They have given that no approval will be more than 15 stories in that area.
Yes.
Understanding that this is meant to be a serene area with just very low houses. And then you take it up to 21 stories. You break the law. And now while you were taking it up to 21 stories, you will not tell me that there were no officials who knew about this. They could have done something. They could have made noise. They could have sealed it up. They could have arrested the people who kept on going. We can't blame people for not noticing that the walls will fall or the building will fall, because most of the people working there are foot soldiers. They don't know. Yarn is to lay block, lay. So it's the direction that the engineers give to them that they work with. So how do we begin to hold ourselves? This is wickedness. How do we begin to hold ourselves responsible so that we don't have this kind of...
so there's no how a building of that nature, as high as it is, being erected, that government officials are not aware of it. So even if that person broke the law, he must have broken the law in connivance with people who had the access or who have the authority to be able to stop him or allow him to continue that building. So a lot of people right now who have to be questioned.
Yeah.
They have to arrest them. They have to arrest the officials.
Yes.
Not just the owner of the building, but the officials who approved after they had said no more than 15 stories.
Yes.
Who approved it, who let it go, who turned their eyes. And this is my problem with Nigeria. A lot of government officials, they will give you money. Because I was discussing it with Mr. Musa the other day. They will give the contractor money to build a road, to make a road. Then you will collect
the money from
me
him.
And
the person who helped him get the contract, you have it cocked.
I will collect settlement.
Yes.
By the time everybody has collected settlement from this guy that's going to do the road,
There's no money
left to do the road. So, and that person that's doing the road too wants to make small money.
Yeah.
It will do a bad road. So within 1 year, you start to notice potholes again. You know, so we are our own problem.
We are.
I'm coming out of the road today. This Danfo crosses on the express, so crosses right in front of me when I'm trying to come out and stops. So I can't come out. Those ones in white and green will say, oh yeah, I'm doing this. It's a lie. He wasn't going to do anything. He still left him there. So for me to maneuver out onto the express was so difficult because we make it difficult for each other.
Yeah. The Punch, gave a report this morning saying that about 6 people died already, and about 50 persons were still trapped inside. I don't know what's happening right now. I'm even worried about these people that have lost their lives, and what's going to happen to them?
Well, apart from the people who have lost their lives, we've talked about the integrity of that building. Maybe money's changed hands to allow that thing to stay there until it collapsed on people and killed people's fathers and brothers and family members. But then also there's the other part of the story, which is the emergency response. At the time I heard the story, it was being reported that it was 2 hours since the collapse and no one had come in. So it was just people, people who were bystanders who were trying to take it apart, rubble by rubble. But so they finally came. So that's another thing we need to talk about. When buildings like that are being erected, what are the health and safety measures that are put around? And then when, there's always a risk of a calamity like this happening what are the where are the emergency units located that are closest to this place? It could have been a fire or something, yes, for easy access to places like this. So that's why when we think about, you know, urban planning and things like that, we have to always remember that every community needs to have like an emergency unit, a fire station, working. Not that when they call you, you say there's no fuel in the car, there's no water in our tank, you know. So it's important that emergency units understand that there's a time that they need to be there to start work.
Yeah,
but
let's quickly go on a break. When we come back, we'll get in our guest, the civil engineer, to help us understand this issue. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Joining us on the show, like I mentioned earlier, is a civil engineer, Abiodun Ariyo, who would help us understand the issues, the collapse of the building, and what we can do to avoid having this sort of thing happen again. Welcome to the show, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. So let's start with the Ikoyi building in particular.
Yes.
With that sort of building, what do you think could have caused that fall?
Yeah, first of all, it's an unfortunate incident, you know, and I sympathize with the families of those that are lost in that avoidable destruction.
Avoidable.
Yeah, it's avoidable because at the planning stage of every project, you get the competent and qualified professionals, you know, to handle the planning, they test the soil. Can they carry what you want to build on it? As in, the load carrying capacity of that soil will be tested. That will determine the kind of foundation you put on that soil. Then there's an agency in Lagos State, building control agency. I think Lagos Building Control Agency. Yeah. You submit the papers to them. They check the drawings. They check the structural architectural drawings. Then, because they have the engineers in their this thing, they check them. So they now give you go ahead to continue that building. But they have to monitor as we're building too. You understand? Yes. Because somebody cannot give you an approval for 14 or 15-story buildings, and then you get to 21-story buildings, according to the report.
Yeah.
Some people, a lot of people have to answer some questions, even in Lagos State government, workers, you know, government officials.
Yes.
You know, those people are developers. They want to make money. But you are there to checkmate them.
Okay.
You know?
That's your job.
Yeah.
You don't make money at the detriment of other people that are working. And,
Thank you.
You understand?
Mr. Ariyo, my question also is, when there's signs on the building to show that this may happen, like for those who are working in the building, they said clients were coming to even view the place. When there's signs that someone can see and point at and say, this building may collapse someday.
Yes, there may be signs, depending on the kind of failure. You understand?
Okay.
But the kind of failure that happened now, there might have been some little signs.
Like,
but you know, if you don't have professionals there,
yes.
So
there may
notice
be
the signs.
Yes, there may be blistering. Maybe on the columns, you see the concrete chipping out.
Okay.
You know, that means that column is under stress.
Okay.
Though the concrete is tripping off, you know, like I say, a developer will say, okay, you just call one bricklayer, go and patch it off, you know.
Wow.
If a structural person, you know, that knows his onions is on that side, he will know that this column is failing. You understand? So like that thing, that building, the way it came down, it's a foundation of column failure. It came down.
Hey.
You understand? That means that load is just too much
for the
foundation of the soil. And it's unfortunate because, like I said, people have to answer questions.
Yes.
21-story in lieu of 15-story. You know, 6-story, additional 6 stories. Now, nobody will tell me, no government officials see that
exactly.
or saw it coming. You understand? And then I learned there was a time the governor sealed up the site. So what happened? When did they unseal it? What happened? Have they ensured everything is in order? So you understand? So
that means they even went behind the governor.
Well, we don't even know.
To do.
Yes.
If the governor, he will not have.
Because something must have led the governor
not
to seal it.
Yes.
Then the governor will call the professionals. Please check this thing because You understand?
He has to come down hard on
the governor is not a civil engineer, he's not a structural engineer. So maybe some engineers in the ministry or something must have given the governor the go-ahead to unseat the
Don't worry,
site.
it's fine. It's okay. It will
So
carry it.
they have questions to answer. And let me say this. Civil servants, mostly they are the problems of Nigerian society.
Are you sure they'll make heaven?
Please go on.
You understand?
Tell us.
Because nobody will tell me money has not exchanged hands
For this to happen.
for this thing to happen. So I think head must roll.
Yes.
Heads must rule.
Heads must roll. Yes.
Not one head, though.
The governor has to investigate this thing. I learned he has ordered investigation to the matter. It's a very good thing.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
And let us see the result. Let us see the report of the
The
investigation.
prosecutions, the
Let's see those people that are involved. Then let them get prosecuted.
Make it an
Open thing.
Yes.
What if you don't make it open thing? You know, like the ones that have happened.
The SARS.
We've not seen any result. We've not seen anything. Nobody has been sent to jail. You know? Yes.
But, you know, there was a viral video I saw when the owner of the building was talking about the people he brought. In fact, he brought some
Yes,
Italians.
they are maybe furniture or architects. They are the best in Europe. I don't think those are the structural people.
Yes.
Yeah. Like the structural consultant, I saw a letter he wrote to him that they are withdrawing their services because they can't work together based on some things.
Yes.
Writing that letter to the client is not enough.
Okay.
Oh, what
Yes.
else?
Please tell us.
You should inform the government agency that's supervising
The
the
building.
project that because of so reasons you are withdrawing.
stepping-
Yes, you can't just say you. Is that man? That man is a developer. You can just see your letter. Don't mind these people. Keep it aside. But if you had informed the supervising agency, government agencies backed by law, they will have come. What are the reasons? If the reasons are genuine, they put a stop to that building. They can even bring the building down. You understand? Losing some amount of millions is better than losing lives. You know, you can't compare those lives to money. So it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
Let's take a short break. When we come back, we have a correspondent on the site to give us her story. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we have a TVC correspondent on the line, Sarah Ayeku. Good morning, Sarah. Okay, can you kindly tell us what is happening?
Hear you.
Yeah, can you tell us what is happening at the site right now, the location of the accident?
Okay, so let me just give you the situation at this moment is that you have this place swarmed with people, journalists, family, friends of those who are trapped in the building, and some other spectators, people that have been here from Monday afternoon till this moment. And so you have them all swarmed up here trying to get a side of the story and see if some persons were rescued from the rubble. And so what we have now is that according to the National Emergency Management Agency, the official here, that's state coordinator here in Lagos, he has confirmed that you have the casualty figure still stands at 4. So we have 4 persons have been confirmed dead, while 5 have been taken to the hospital that's in Odo, here on the island. And so that's the figure that we have now, although there are some other conflicting figures. But the official figure that we have now from the National Emergency Management Agency is that 4 bodies were recovered, while 5 were rescued yesterday. The last person that was rescued here was rescued at about 11 p.m., some minutes after 11 p.m. last night. And so what is going on right now is the search and rescue operation is still ongoing. So if you look straight up ahead, you see that here they say they have about 4 excavators here, trying, of course, to see if they can get people out. We also know that they've been hearing voices. They've been trying to communicate with people who are trapped under the rubble. They still communicated with them this morning. And they said they had voices and they've been able to speak with some persons this morning. And these persons, for now, they're trying to engage less with this person so that these persons can conserve their energy because they do not know for how long this operation will last because of the complexity and the situation. If you look at the streets, now this estate, some sort of estate, you see that it's a bit narrow, difficult for emergency responders to actually take in their heavy-duty vehicles to see if they can rescue people. So for now, that's what we're seeing, and we see that the police officers, of course, are trying to ensure and control the crowd.
So, do we have any figure to the number of persons still trapped inside?
So we had asked the state coordinator for NEMA if he could give us a number to ascertain the persons that are inside, a number of some sort or an identity of those who are inside. He said for now he cannot give us that figure. So now they're still keeping that under the wraps. They don't want some sort of speculations to be going on around the area. So we do not know how many persons are trapped for now, even though there are speculations as to the number of persons, but we do not know. We cannot say since there is no official statement yet. But what we know is that search and rescue operations are still ongoing. We're expecting that we'll see the permanent secretary for the health ministry is going to be visiting some the victims, that's the survivors now at the hospital in Odon. We also know that the recovered bodies have been taken to Bagada General Hospital. So for now, we're just waiting. Our fingers are crossed. Earlier, we saw some family members angry. You know, they were really angry. They're not really happy about the what they call the slow pace of work, search and rescue operation that has been ongoing here. And so they are hoping that LASEMA, NEMA, Red Cross, and other emergency responders would, of course, speed up. But then on the other hand, the emergency responders cannot speed up because of the complexity. Don't forget, this is a 21-story building. It's not a 3-story building where you could just get to ground zero. So it's difficult for them to take off all that pack of blocks that you see there. So it's going to be a long time, probably a long time before we can get some news. But for now, we're still waiting. Everybody here was still waiting and hoping that these persons will be rescued.
The direction that the voices are coming from, can they go in there?
So from what we heard from some eyewitnesses and some persons around, people that saw this happen, they said that the construction workers had come in Monday afternoon. So and they were, of course, just going about their normal duties because this building is still under construction. So for now, they're still trying to trace the location of the voices that they've heard, which is what we heard. And that's why you see that there are 4 excavators. As at 7 a.m. this morning, 2 more excavators came in. So now we have a total of 4. So for now, they cannot really tell us where they're hearing the voices from. And of course, they're not allowing us in to manage, to control the crowd. Because if we all decide to go in, it could jeopardize the safety of the persons in there and also our own safety. So the place is cordoned off. You see that they're not allowing us into that place for us to clearly ascertain or determine where these persons are speaking from. But we know that the
Sarah, we have another question for you.
Are communicating with the people in the building that's under the rubble, and they're just hoping that they will be able to get them as quick as possible.
Okay, Sarah, I was going to say, and I'm seeing it right now, that I noticed that some of the victims are being carried by hand and legs. And I was wondering if there are ambulances there, if there are stretchers, if there are nurses and doctors or paramedics right there around your locations, or are they still using people to drag these people when they get them out to carry them on their backs and on their, holding their hands and their legs?
That particular video you saw was yesterday.
Yeah, so she can confirm if that's what's happening today.
Okay. Sarah, did you get that?
Yeah, I think so. So if I get what you're saying, so what you're saying is if we have enough emergency responders like nurses, doctors, and like the Red Cross. Of course, we have the Red Cross here. We have them all around. We have an ambulance. There are some of them inside over there. And so they're just waiting to see if some other emergency responders can bring up some other persons out, from the rubble. So for now, manpower, according to NEMA officials, they have enough, because this place is actually choked up. You can't really have so many people, in that space because any mistake could jeopardize the whole search and rescue process. So they're trying to minimize the number of persons that go in there. So only officials are allowed to go in there. So we know that there are medical staff just there waiting to see if they'll be able to rescue some persons and they can give their first aid to these victims. So for now, we're just waiting. Really. And it's harrowing and disturbing for the family and friends, for those who have worked with some persons trapped in there. So it's going to be a long day.
Sarah, I'm worried. I'm worried about the crowd there. I'm just worried that there are so many people there. is the police doing anything to sort of control that crowd and condone some areas off so that the paramedics will have access to take these people out? Or everybody's just standing like that?
Yeah, of course, it's difficult to control the crowd because earlier, well, we got here at about 7 a.m., this whole street of Gerald Road was cordoned off. So you have the people that were here all through the night were told to stay behind the cameraman. So for now, because of the way the situation is, people are just apprehensive. They just want to see this operation over and done with. So that's why you have a number of persons here right now. The police, they've been trying to chase people away, tell them to stay behind the cordon line, the space, that's the median. They've been asking people to move, but it's difficult to get people to move because people just want to get people saved, which is what is on their mind, while the police is trying to control the crowd. So that's what you're seeing right here. So we also want to get in there and see what is going on, but the police have been able to manage us to stay on one line here on Gerald Road.
Thank you so much, Sarah. We'll take a short break now. We'll expect more updates from you. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.